if the message can go out to our people through your Talanoa today, Sione, that health and safety is important. Come home safely, when you're at work.
This one's for you and you and you. And you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you.
Talofa, everyone. Welcome back to Organic Talanoa. I'd like to welcome you back. Also be able to welcome our guest, Hans Key, Pacific Responsiveness National Advisor. So we're going to just probably go through our Talanoa and want to just welcome you in through into Organic Talanoa, Hans.
Thank you, Whaftai. Thank you for the opportunity, Sione.
Just for yourself, like just maybe just the intro about who Hans Key is, as well as just part of your role with the Pacific Responsiveness.
Yeah, whaftai. So talofa to the viewers, the listeners, and thank you again, Sione, for the opportunity. So my name is Hans Key. I'm the National Advisor Pacific Responsiveness for WorkSafe New Zealand. So WorkSafe is a government agency that looks after the health and safety legislation within WorkSafe. I'm Samoan. I was born in Samoa. My parents, with my three other siblings, migrated to New Zealand back in 1970. When I was still young, lived in Mount Wellington, Panmure area, attended the local schools, and then we decided to move over to South Auckland, to Otara, and pretty much that's where I grew up, and and went to my intermediate and high school. Well, actually, high school, we actually all went back to Penrose High, when it was Penrose High at the time. Now I think it's called One Tree Hill.
Yes.
And then basically just had my upbringing in South Auckland. Went on a 2-year mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to Nevada, Las Vegas.
Oh, nice.
So I spent 2 years over there. Then come back and married a local girl who's tangata whenua. Her name is Michelle Rivers, or Ni Rivers. Her father's from Ngāpui up in Kaitaia, and her mum's from the Coromandel. So we have 3 children, a daughter and 2 boys. Daughter still lives at home, and my young son, and the middle child, he's out there doing his own thing. So which is all good. They're all grown up adults. And then my wife 3 years ago passed away. So she's buried up in Kennedy Bay in the Coromandels. And so I do a bit of a hikoi, or travel up there from time to time. Well, actually every month. So I'm planning to go up there next week. So but pretty much I've been a South Auckland boy. Grew up and played my sports. Played for East Tamaki, rugby. And but now my role as a health and safety advisor, I do a lot of travel, delivery of our health and safety program called Puataunofo, Come Home Safely, which was developed back in 2006. At that time, statistics-wise, our Pacific people were high in fatalities and injuries. Just behind Māori. Māori, their fatalities or injuries were in the forestry sector, but ours was more manufacturing. And, back in the day, Sione, our Pacific people, they migrated to New Zealand, better life, and so they took on these jobs in the manufacturing sector, as well as cleaning. That'll probably be their second job. So we basically said, well, what program is there that educates our people, our workers. So we worked alongside ACC, Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs, MPIA at the time. They're now known as Ministry of Pacific Peoples.
This one.
And other organisations like Auckland Council and non-profit agencies, community, just to say, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing to try and reduce the number of our Pacific people being injured in the workplace? But there was no program.
No.
And so we decided to create a program with the likes of a few of my colleagues, Naomi Saluni, who is one of the big managers for Whailo Family.
Yeah.
They're based in Wellington. And at that time, we had Alpito Sio. He was very involved under the Department of Labour at that time. And other people that had an interest or wanted to be involved in creating something to educate our Pacific people. So the Puataunofo program was created or born, and one of our stalwart members, I suppose, is Ropati Mangasiva. That's the father of Pua, and I forgot his other. Anyway, so he was the one that said, let's call it Puataunofo. And all the Samoans out there, Puataunofo is a name that Avele College back in Samoa uses as their. But he came back and said, this describes our group. So the pua is a special flower used for special occasions, and the tau is when the village comes together to pick the pua, because the pua sort of grows low on the ground on a vine. So, and the nofo is sitting down. The pua represents the worker because it's special. And so when we bring together a company with all their workers, we're sitting down and we have a talanoa about their health and safety. And so it's been running since 2006. And I've been there from the very beginning. So was one of the delivery or facilitators, and still am.
Yeah.
And along with a few others like Harry Aonga, we shared the platform with his messages around water safety.
Yeah, DPA.
He's really good fellow to work with. Along with Ezra Talamailina, I think he was a Niuean worker at ACC. I believe he's passed away now. But we were sort of like a team working together to reach our Pacific people. And the findings, our Pacific people, they're saying, they just put their heads down and go to work and never speak up. They show their fa'aloalo, the respect to the boss, and they'll jump, jump if the boss says, hop on that forklift, work up on the roof, but no edge protection, no safety in place. And so they'll do it. That's our Pacific people, our nature. We work hard. We want to get the job done. Yeah. Whether it's safe or not safe, we just do it. So
they're probably quite grateful that they have a job. So probably
definitely.
A lot of them don't really speak up. They just think they're going to speak up, and maybe they're going to get let go as well.
And that's the thing, they fear that if they do speak up about health and safety or any issues, the boss is going to turn around and fire them or sack. Hey, you're done. But in our delivery, we basically say, hey, in New Zealand we have laws that protect us, and so we share with them. There's the Employment Relations Amendment Act, that it talks about their employment contract. Yeah. And they go, oh, really? Oh, tell us about it. And I say, well, you can speak up. You've signed a contract. It's an agreement between you and your employer that, they'll provide 40 hours. You'll turn up for 40 hours, et cetera, all your rights and responsibilities. And then the other law is the Health and Safety at Work Act. And that protects you also in terms of making sure that the company provides a safe working environment for you.
Some of this work that you're doing here now with companies and connecting it with the workers and their understanding, I think are you doing more now with you're connecting with the seasonal workers? So how's that been going with their understanding?
It's thank you for asking, because just last week I spent the whole week with one of my colleagues down in Hastings. and one of the companies down there who's a big grower, apples, onions, all sorts. They were bringing in seasonal workers from Fiji, Samoa, Solomon, and Vanuatu. But they've also just had a huge group come in from Indonesia.
Yeah.
These countries, these workers come from countries that perhaps they have laws, but not as active as what we have here in New Zealand. So when they come here, it's a surprise. Oh, why do we have to wear safety boots? Yeah. I'm used to my jandals, So it's a matter of changing that culture that they bring with them. When the company goes through their induction, you've got to wear these PPE, safety equipment, and they go, oh, no, I'm used to out in the maumanga, in the plantation, I just wear my lava, my jandals, and just no tops, just
spraying a lot of chemicals.
Exactly. But yeah, no, and so the company is doing its very best. And I believe all companies are doing their best to try and get that health and safety message to the workers so they understand. But then the company also wants them to speak up. Because like I said, the workers, if their PPE or safety equipment is damaged or lost, they won't speak up. They're thinking, oh, I'll just sneak into the orchards and do my work without the PPE, So our program encourages them, empowers them to speak up. You don't be afraid. They're not going to fire you. You're not going to lose your job over if you're speaking up about health and safety matters. Yeah.
Well, like anything, I guess when you turn up to some of them, where the seasonal workers are, how long does it take for you to do the program? Because I guess part of that is relationship build.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd have to do that because, with PIs or even the groups that are coming for the seasonal, a lot of it's the trustee.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And, in Māori, they had that whakawhanaungatanga. Yeah. So we do something similar in the Pacific. And so I start off with introducing myself and where my dad's from and my mum's from, and back in Samoa, and then you can see the eyes go, oh, you're my relative. There's that connection. Yeah. So once you have that connection, they're willing to sit down and talk, but even just to acknowledge their language in the greeting. Sometimes it's part of our introduction. We engage with the company and say, hey, we'd like to come earlier, maybe a week or so before, and just walk around, meet some of the workers, talk to some of the influential members of the team. Some of them are what they call pastoral care representative who speak and know the business well. So when the new seasonal workers come, they're the ones to make sure that they're getting all their bank accounts and all that stuff in place.
Is that a person they come over with, or is it someone that's based
someone
here?
That's here, right. Who's of, say, Samoan or Indonesia or whatever the ethnicity is. But they're the ones that make sure that the pastoral care, working with the business, is provided for. Like I said, they help them set up their bank accounts, get their licenses, driver's license, or make sure that they're well equipped. Because they basically put them in a house. That's their accommodation. So the pastoral care sort of make sure that they take them in the van, get their shopping, and make sure that they're settled into New Zealand.
Do you ever come across any cases where maybe some of them haven't been looked after that well? Or?
There are some out there that I've heard through the grapevine, or even you've probably seen them on media, on the news. People have complained about the setup, accommodation, and not looking after them. And so we're doing the best that we can to connect with those businesses through the right industry. So with immigration and MB, they're the one that sort of work closely with the businesses if they've been approved to recruit seasonal workers. But we come from a health and safety angle and work alongside them and say, well, those are Pacific. If they're not speaking up, or if they're just going, we'll all 8 of us will stay in one little caravan, but they won't, rock the boat. So we say, well, we'll come in here and encourage them to speak up, be a voice for them at some time, but they're out there.
Yeah.
But I believe that they're getting better,
Yeah.
just from, legislation-wise. Hopefully the businesses are listening and saying, hey, we've got to look after these workers because they're coming from overseas, helping the economy.
Sounds familiar with the when you were saying about the 8 people living in a caravan. Like if you think about the housing now, a lot of our families there, maybe only a 3-bedroom home, and you got about 18 people staying there. That's quite crazy too.
Yeah. But like I said, there's a lot of businesses. My recent trip down to Blenheim, it's the Horts in New Zealand. What a big, they specialize in grapes, the vineyards, and was invited to come along, a new group of Tongan workers. They were all excited, saw the accommodation. Man, I tell you, it's just, it's like they're living in the Hyatt hotel,
Yes.
But again, that's one of the big businesses, and they're a big grower. So their expectation is for them to make sure that they're looking after their workers. And if they are looking after their workers, the workers will, that hard work, they'll be loyal. But that's so it's still a work in progress. Working with the likes of immigration and MB to ensure that both the business and the workers are looked after. Yeah,
nice work, especially with all of the international groups that are coming in. So it's I know it'd be daunting for them to come over here. Hearing that story with the Tongans, like, you think, and what they've got back home compared to there, it's like, man, that's just a 5-star hotel that they've just come into.
And it was interesting, a couple of them, because it was a bit of an engagement, a research program, and asking some questions.
Yeah.
So this researcher, they wanted to connect with the Pacific, but they didn't know how. They were wanting to have big flip charts and post-its. And I said, I don't think our Pacific people are used to that, so it's more face-to-face, talanoa.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, well, you want to take the lead on that, Hans? And I said, okay, I'll help along, make some suggestions, but let's do it that way. And so we did.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting, some of the workers, because they come from where that explosion back in Tonga occurred. And so they were telling us, there was a question about, why are you here, what's important for you? And they said, family, And one of them said, well, I'm here. I've already bought a pickup truck. It's up in Auckland. Family put it into a container, and I'm working hard, get some more, buy some clothes, buy some stuff, put it into that container with the truck. And then when I'm ready, when I go back, I'll take it back with me. I said, wow, that's wonderful, And he said, but the opportunity to be here to work, because they wouldn't have it back in Tonga. Yeah. And the same with a few of the Samoans, Fijians. So, and it's an opportunity for them to be here. But right now, COVID, a lot of them had the opportunity to go back, but they realize that once they're overseas, they can't come back. Only residents or New Zealand citizens can come back. So they opted to stay longer.
Some of those guys have been probably 2-3 years away from home, eh?
Yeah.
They haven't got, and then they have wives, kids, so which is hard on them. But like you say, it's they're making it well worth their time. They're sending things back for their families. Yeah. It's so being a national role, you do a lot of traveling. So obviously, looking after yourself mentally, I guess physically. I understand that you do a bit of working out, which is cool. So how have you been finding that journey for yourself?
It's as you know, Sione, I've been involved with the men's health program that's run over at Fitness Plus in Manurewa, Wiri there, and so one of the trainers there, because I was just working out in whatever machines, and then Mateo Vaihu, who's we know as a Tongan bodybuilder who's getting ready for the Mr. Olympia.
Yep.
So he came along and invited me to be involved or participate in the men's health. And ever since then, I've just embraced it. He's a really good trainer, and someone that mentors you, say, how's your fitness, how's your eating pattern, all that. So, and I've stuck with it. And even though the program hasn't officially since COVID, with the funding and that coming through, but I've just maintained going to the gym. And the guy Ben, he's a trainer, and I don't know, I forgot his last name.
Leatoa.
Yeah. So he pushes us also, just and for me that's my health and well-being. Being around good, other people wanting to train with, like the likes of yourself when you come, and TJ and others, just being around people with the common interests, and so for me that's my sort of like outlet. When I was in Hastings last week, I came back late that afternoon, and I looking at the clock. Oh, the plane is really slow, getting our luggage, and then I'm going, am I going to make the session, So, and that was the first thing I did.
Yeah,
just threw my bags into the house, got my gear, and got changed, and straight into the gym, and managed to get there and get in my exercise, because for me, my health and well-being plays an important part. Yes, I do a lot of travel, facilitate long hours, and so you're away from home. The good thing about the two kids that I have at home, they're adults. They look after themselves. So I don't have a worry. I just make sure that they're not relying on Uber Eats all the time. There's plenty of kai in the fridge and pantry. They can. But for me, it's looking after myself, and my boss Apollo Taito, he catches up and he says, "Oh, how are you doing, Hans? Are you looking after yourself?" And so I say, "Yeah, no. As long as and mental health, I've had people connect up with me in the past, and I just got to make sure I'm stable and someone to talk to. So." But having that outlet, through the men's health, the exercise program, and even at church, I'm just, grateful that I'm able to have control of it.
Hat goes off to you, Hans. Just for being an older one in our group, but everyone's inspired because when we're tired. And we turn around and we see you still going. It's like, man, just shut up and keep going. So, and obviously you're the only one who listens to Mateo's diets. See, being in that condition, because we're all struggling. We can do the exercise, but that's probably the one side we're trying to fix. Well, that's good, listening to that, and even the encouragement of how you mustn't have some men's group or in church as well, and maybe even a bit of your work around with the different churches in the area. So that's helping. Do you do much with the youth? Do you do a bit of mentoring in there with youth in the church?
And because my young son, he's a youth age. One time he was it just recently we were mowing the lawns, and he came out wearing his jandals, and I said, hey,
health and safety.
Take your Samoan safety shoes off and put the proper ones on. So, but on just this week on Friday, and even tonight, my colleague Afele Paia, he's facilitating the health and safety Puataunofo program to the churches that the Whailoa family trusts have organised. So I tag along. I go along with the resources, the banners, and to support Afele in his delivery. And the two churches, there was one in Mount Roscoe, Ames Ministry Church, and I'm not sure the one tonight, but a lot of them are youth in those churches. So they connected really well with the message that Awhile was delivering. And so just to see them and hear them, they work at McDonald's or at Bunnings, and but now they realize, health and safety plays an important part, and they're out there working to support the parents, take care of all the alafu, all the bills and stuff, and provide all the things that they need in their family. But health and safety has to be paramount, because once you lose your fingers or your capacity to breathe or whatever, then you can't replace it. There's no secondhand shop for anything that, body parts, So that's, we make it fun and say, well, there's secondhand car parts or, parts for other equipment, but not for a human body. So we've got to look after it,
It's good that the youth there, you've got them now sort of, they're getting educated at a young age, and now they're starting to help out our parents. Then for hopefully they'll be working on the young ones coming through. So it's like the whole point, and like everyone's educated on the importance of the health and safety.
Yeah. And we do a lot of reach through the ASB Polyfest.
Yes.
And that's one of the big events that that WorkSafe supports us going out to, because that's where a lot of our, the young generation, the next generation that's coming through that will be in the workplace. So we just go in there, make health and safety fun, and engage with them, and then hopefully some of the takeaways they'll Puataunofo, health and safety, speak up and all those sort of key messages, because they become, or they fall into that category, vulnerable workers. That sometimes they don't know their rights, and when they're put into a position, or the person say, you can come and sweep the floor for $50 an hour. Oh wow. Where's the contract? Just shake the hand. Yeah. And they go, okay, I shook the hand. Go home, tell mum and dad, I shook his hand. That's not a contract. Yeah. So sometimes that's what's out there, But we're doing the best that we can to reach that generation and say, hey, you have rights and responsibilities, but your right is you have a contract to have an employment.
As you mentioned early on, you married tangata whenua. So, sometimes the ongoing joke for some of the Samoans is like, you find yourself a girl from Māori girl so you can get the permanent residence. Obviously, you wouldn't have done that. No. I guess just the part on the question was that, how was that with merging the two cultures, cross cultures? Because sometimes that can be a difficult mix. It may have made it easy, maybe in the church sense, but they've had to try to both adapt a bit. So how did you find that with the Samoan and Māori being mixed together?
Yeah, it was a good question, But we had to adjust, some of in terms of culture. And so these were some of the things that in our early stage of our marriage, we had to iron it out before the children came along. And even though some, areas that weren't polished, but we refined that, especially, once you had your first child and then you get a little bit of anger and then you go, well, let's come together for our daughter. And then the second son came, or the next child came, and then the third one. And then we say, hey, let's make this work. Let's not just give up and get divorced. But, like I said, we ironed out a lot of the things, especially the culture. Yeah.
How are the kids? Because there'll be one where sometimes they go to one side more dominant than the other, or they quite well balanced in that.
And it was good when they were in primary school. Yeah. They were introduced to both the Māori and also the Samoan. So they embraced both. And every time they, like a census or, having to define, what box to tick, and they said, well, like my son said, Dad, it says here Māori or Samoan, which one? I said, just tick both of them. Just say you're a afa this and a afa that. Yeah. And, but they they all embraced it. And what I did also was take my my children, just the two of them were able to go, the oldest and the youngest, back to Samoa.
Yeah.
And introduced them to kokolesa and, or the luau and taro, and my son, my young son, man, he just
Into it.
into it, big time. And then when I make a pot of kokolesa using the Samoan koko, I only have one bowl, and then the rest, it's gone. My children love it, eh? So, but again, it's just introducing that. But I know my wife, Michelle, she found it difficult when all the whālawi-lavis that came, because my dad is a matai for our family, and mum very supportive of her, my dad, and whenever there was any those sort of whālawi-lavis, and so I would be supportive of it too. But then Michelle said, why do we have to give? Give, eh? I said, well, that's our how the village works. And eventually she saw, it did come. It blessed us, in terms of the support, and I don't hold a Samoan title of that, but I believe my title as a father, that's the important role that I play in our family. And so I do my best to still support my dad, who's still alive. He lives in Brisbane with the rest of my siblings. And but he's still, I hold him high regards as our matai and as our leader for our family. And I support him and love him. And even my mum, who's been gone for 30 plus years now. Yeah. But so again, the culture clash, we've had to make it work. Yeah. And my in-laws, especially my father-in-law, he was working for the courts, and he would email me and say, Hans, we're doing a Pacifika thing. Can you write me a Samoan speech so I can? And I say, kia ora, Dad, I'll do that. So, and then he'll come over and we'll read it and get But he said, this is cool. It's the same as Māori. I said, I might have to do the same. I want to I'm going to a Māori tangi. I need to say whai kōrero, so he'll do the same thing. So, but he really appreciates, the culture that we bring to his family, the whānau, and vice versa. So
I think I was actually skipped the part around the Men's Health, but just how was your take on over the lockdown? Because there was they managed to get together. Just your take on some of the online stuff that was shared.
Yeah, no, it was really good, and I think my hat goes off to Mateo, and even some of the boys said, hey, let's still keep it going. Yeah. Even though the challenge is not coming together face to face and physically work out together. But we did. We managed to go, get a Zoom link, jump on. Everybody was doing the exercise, and Mateo was looking and seeing who was coming up for their sit-ups and doing the burpees and all sorts. But it was just connecting, because it was new to us at first, and it was a challenge. And some of them, probably, with the mental health, probably not going to go to work, and where's the next income coming? Yeah. But just having Mateo and the Men's Health come together and keep us going and keeping that physical well-being. And we will, and sometimes we'll have a session just to have a talanoa, and that was really good to have guys open up about how they're feeling about the change. I ended up buying me a bike. So when we were out, because I used to walk around the block, but I thought, get a bike so I can, get up those hills, keep my the cardio going. But having those online talanoas was really helpful because the likes of Mateo, Salil, sometimes they'll bring in an invited guest, to share some insights around how we can keep ourselves mentally fit. So no, it was good.
Some of those challenges weren't the easiest ones either, but it was good. I think we met a lot of new people online, which was, and then to meet them face to face was good. You were there on the very last part of that. We did all these burpees. I think he ended up, they did a clip on him for Tangata Pacifika, but...
oh, yes. That's when, what's his name, John Pulu came through. Yeah, we were there, and everyone wearing their different T-shirts, and we had our own teams. But it was good, you know, the camaraderie and everyone coming together, you know, for the same cause, you know, to maintain good health and fitness as well as mental well-being, you know. And but yeah, no, that was a really awesome, you know, despite of the challenges, you know, we came through, and hopefully we can keep that momentum going.
Crazy way to celebrate by doing 100 burpees.
Yeah. But it was the way Mateo did it, you know, 10. Okay, next good 10, and then just kept going around. And then, but yeah, it was really good.
All got there in the end, eh?
Yeah.
Just with other stuff that you may be doing outside of work and that, like, do you have any other interests in terms of were you supporting other people with maybe work or with even within the church or outside of it? So probably outside from your the workspace seat?
So again, in the church area, I look after our the Tongan unit. We call them ward. And so some of those men like Saya and Peter Watangi and others that I've basically given my time in the mornings. They come together, semi kaufusi, and we run a boxing session.
Nice.
So after my spin class, I jump on, put on the gloves, and we hit the bags just for half an hour. But because again, Semi, I saw him one morning. He was walking, and he, you know, with the hood and the stick, and I was saying, "Oh, where are you walking to?" He's going to Totara Park and going to walk around the tracks and do the steps. And I said, "Oh, okay. You want to do some boxing?" He said, "Oh, yeah, I'd rather do that than walking." So I said, hey, "Come over to the fitness plus, and we'll get onto the bags or do some circuit there." So he did, and eventually, and he's just shed a lot of the weight.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's sort of just been, you know, again, keeping that health and well-being and going for our men in that Tongan unit. And just to, you know, seeing what I can do. I did a Lea Tonga course through MIT.
Yeah, nice.
And so I thought, well, I'll, you know, get the Lea Tonga language under my belt. So, you know, I've got an extra skill when I engage with Tongan workers. I haven't got a gold teeth yet, but
one day.
one day. But just seeing their smile when you greet them and you have a bit of a talanoa with them in their Lea Tonga, they go, "Oh man, that's cool. Are you Tongan?" I said, "No, I'm Samoa." Samoan, and they're surprised. But you know, just having that connection, helping them. Some of them are builders in the construction industry, and so they pick my brains around, you know, health and safety. What do they need to do to comply? So, you know, health and safety, I'm not just going to park it, you know, in the weekends and I say I don't work weekends. I'm always available, you know, just to share what I know and impart that knowledge to these people that want to make inquiries around health and safety. And so I keep that community involvement. And just basically, as you mentioned earlier, around the youth, I know I do follow up with some of those youth that went to that whitewater activity that you organise through the bishops in the church, and they really enjoy it, you know. And some of them have grown, you know, they actually become young adults, but they still remember that. That was a fear factor for them, you know. But they said they thoroughly enjoyed it. And so if the opportunity did come around for them again, they'd embrace it. So I just connect up with those young people, you know, impart what I've learned in my experience with the work and my own life, just to make sure that they are in the good space, you know, and just provide someone that they can connect up with, you know, or offload if it's not to their parents or to someone. They've got someone that can turn to and become that mentor.
No, thanks, Hans. This and well done to you. Like, you. I know you're a busy man yourself, but then to still have time for the different men's groups and the youth and the church. So probably just as we wind up, just if you have anything else, because you've given me a whole heap of awesome information and support. If you have any words of encouragement for just for our community.
Well, I actually came, like when you invite somebody to participate in their Talanoa. So these are the bags, come home safely. Every workshop that we deliver, it's the cultural thing. We come not empty-handed, but we come, and leave them a gift bag. So we've always done this since we started, and everyone appreciates it. So in our gift bags, there's a drink bottle or a water bottle, there's a lanyard and a fridge magnet, and a face mask since COVID. And it's got Puataunofo. So every time they see the word Puataunofo, they know it's health and safety. And that the poor, it's them as an individual, as a worker, and that they need to come home. We used to have a sanitarium with us, so we used to throw in some boxes of Weet-Bix or Up and Goes, and so again, it's having a healthy breakfast and promoting the messages that they give as an organisation. And because we hate to see our young people walking around with a fizzy bottle in the morning and a meat pie, and that's not a healthy breakfast to start the day, having Weet-Bix or cornflakes. So this is a gift bag that, I want to leave with you and your colleague here.
Oh, hey.
So I'll leave that on the table here. So
thank you for that.
Just to, if the message can go out to our people through your Talanoa today, Sione, that health and safety is important. A lot of them work long hours. And so when one of our messages, if they're working 10, 12 hours at work, look after each other because that's your other family. But you're there to earn financial support so you can support and look after your families. But they want you to do that, continue to do that, the next day, in the next week, and the next month, and the next year, and not become a statistics that you're not going to go home. You're not going to be able to work because you're paralyzed or you've lost your fingers or you can't see because your eyes were injured, et cetera, et cetera. So my final message is just to come home safely, when you're at work.
Oh, man. It's been awesome, Talanoa, and thank you for that message. Also with working with not just our Pacific groups. I know you probably work with outside of that, but other ethnic groups as well. But awesome message of come home safely. Because it's when mum and dad leave, or when dad leaves to go to work, and I want to make sure that they come home too. So return back to their loved ones. But thank you very much, Hans.
Manu 50.
And thank you for the gift. Yes, definitely gonna cherish these because we don't often get gifts. But thank you. This might be a start of something for our next guests that are listening. But thank you very much for jumping in and listening again. For Organic Talanoa. Once again, just want to thank the team with Guy and Will, and also with Miranda as well, the work she puts in the background as well, and also to our awesome guests. But do go jump on our YouTube channel. We've got a Organic Talanoa. Like and subscribe and share it. And get the awesome messages out there. So, Whaftai Lava, thank you once again, Hans.
Malo sifua.
This one's for you and you and you. And you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you.
Da 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 da.